Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Neck. We have got the first live tournament action of today's Novice Let It Ride tournament coming at you right now on MLG Shatter Temple. We have a perfect 16 person bracket here, apparently. Super excited for this. We are going to be watching DarkSlayer, I believe is a silver level player, opponent versus KENI, who is not ranked currently. She has just purchased the game, so a very new player to the StarCraft 2 scene, but is going to be going right into the tournament, so we've got to give this young woman a lot of credit. That is awesome stuff. So let's take a look here at the brackets and see if we can find their ranks for sure, for at least for DarkSlayer. So DarkSlayer is going to be, yes, he indeed is silver. So good stuff there. Silver versus what we would say is probably just bronze at this point. But I did get the chance to see KENI play last night, so really good stuff. She's a pretty decent player, has got a lot of potential here, I think, in StarCraft 2, so going to be tons of fun to see her career potentially start taking off, right here at Alt StarCraft. This is her first tournament, so pretty solid stuff. And tonight, everybody will be competing for a $2.50 prize. That is going to be really nice. And they can, as usual, since it is Let It Ride, they can double that money in the coming weeks. DarkSlayer chrono boosting there just a little bit early, wasting a good chunk of that chrono boost. Want to keep control of those chronos is a good tip for DarkSlayer at this point. But we can see that he has got decent timing here on his pylon and gateway. And KENI doing pretty decent scouting. DarkSlayer starting to scout as well. And KENI cruising right into DarkSlayer's base here, looking pretty solid. Gonna see what's going on. And DarkSlayer's scout now approaching KENI's base as well. Does see the spawning pool going down immediately. So good timing on the spawning pool there by KENI. She will not be super fast expanding, at least not hatched before pool. So spawning pool first, not a bad choice. She's going to be going straight for her extractor as well. We do have overlords cruising around the map here, so it looks like she is going to be surrounding her opponent essentially with overlords here in just a little while. That way she can poke into the base, which I think is really good play. This is what I like to see people starting to learn how to do, and in the early levels of the early leagues of this game, bronze and silver being the case here, is I really like to see these players starting to pick up some of those tips that the pro level players are using, the high level players are using, scouting being one of them. It used to be, months ago, when StarCraft 2 first came out, that low-level play, you wouldn't see scouting, and that is something that's starting to change. We're starting to see lower-level players picking up a lot of the tricks of the trade, knowing what to do, how to scout, build orders, and things like that. So when it comes down to it, the StarCraft 2 community is getting better at its game, no matter what league they are in, and a lot of potential here for, I think, quality tournaments in even the low levels, which is part of the reason why we're doing this. It's not only just to give our fans that are in the lower levels a chance to kick it, hang out, compete for some small prizes and things like that, but also because really, quite frankly, some of these matches can be very entertaining. KENI doing a pretty decent job here. She is going straight for a Roach Warren. She has got her metabolic speed boost on the way, so she's staying on top of those. She's still on 1 gas. This looks like a pretty solid build, to be honest, so fairly nicely done so far. DarkSlayer going to be going for what appears to be a pretty nice 3-gate robo. Timing seemed pretty solid, to be honest, so good job there for DarkSlayer. Let's take here look at units tab for just a moment. We do have 24 probes. KENI slightly behind economically. Just now boosting up to 21, but still slightly behind. Not a big deal. There comes the drone transfer. Down to the natural. A couple Zerglings on the field here for map control, taking control of the Zelnaga Tower. KENI doing a wonderful job with their map control. She does have these overlords here and here that I'd like to see. Well, this one actually is a good spot because then she can watch the back door. But this one up here, I guess she's just watching for a and expand, but that's a little bit later in the game, so this one could be used for some early scouting. Float it into this position here, and then peek in across the base, and then back to this high ground here is a pretty decent idea. But I mean, that's something that, you know, a lot of these players will pick up with time. But there's a decent tip for KENI, and going to be cruising around with these Zerglings, checking out to see what's going on around the map. No gold expand quite yet. We are only 7 minutes into the game. However, this would be a decent time for DarkSlayer to, you know, start thinking about actually taking an expand. So, however, DarkSlayer does not have tons of units out on the field quite yet. So, going to be remedying that. We do have an Immortal on the way, looking pretty good there. KENI does have a pretty substantial army. Let's take a look at production here. Alright, melee level 1 on the way. More Zerglings for KENI. Pretty solid stuff. So DarkSlayers, oh, good scout there by KENI. Able to figure something out, not bad. Robotics facility, not producing anything right now. And DarkSlayer is floating quite a few minerals. Still floating some, even after the warp in. So we need to see, there we go. And notice that DarkSlayer, though, is floating a lot of gas. So this is a tip for DarkSlayer. As you're going into this game, try and work on if you're going to collect this much gas, double assimilators, which quite frankly is not tons for a 3-gate robo. It just comes down to your unit production. So you need to be consistently warping in units, and what you can do is warp in some sentries relatively early on, and that will help you utilize your gas. So, and then obviously the sentries are super effective against Zerg players. You can block off roaches and Zerglings and things like that fairly well with those force fields. So that is a definite tip for DarkSlayer we'd like to see from him, because that is 600 gas just kind of floating around is not a good situation to be in. However, KENI is going to be massing some Zerglings up here, it looks like, across the map, as well as a defense force. Spinecrawler going down in the main. She does have double queens out on the field. Appears to be using the energy fairly well. This one could be a little bit lower. The energy is at 100, and spawn larva only cost 25, so there's a lot of spawn larva missed here for KENI. Would like to see her using that spawn larva. There goes one right there, so good job. But this queen doing pretty solid. And here comes some movement from DarkSlayer. This is a lot of Immortals. Now, Immortals are going to be super effective at taking out, number one, the spine crawlers, but as well as these roaches. So, could be a little bit of trouble here. KENI does see this coming out across the map. Positioning herself in a defensive position here. Tossing down an extra spine crawler. These guys on move command instead of a command. So that's a tip for DarkSlayer. Always use attack move. And it looks like KENI going to be in decent shape because of that to clean this up. Otherwise, DarkSlayer probably would have been in a little bit of trouble, I think. Yeah, these Immortals should be doing way more damage. They need to be on a move, and now KENI going to be doing her counterattack here with those Zerglings that she had hidden at the gold expand. Cruising in here, but DarkSlayer doing a pretty decent job cleaning that up, so not bad. But here comes the main force from KENI. This is going to be difficult for DarkSlayer to deal with. Oh my goodness, we are about to see a GG here. It looks like DarkSlayer is really going to have to pull something out. He does not have anything mining. All of those Zerglings took out his entire mineral line, so great job there by KENI. And here come the roaches. The last defense right here on the ramp by DarkSlayer. Is this going to be enough? It does not appear so. And one more stalker, and that is it. It looks like, well, here comes an Immortal. However, there is just not any real way for DarkSlayer to get back in this game. Yeah, DarkSlayer saying GG. It was very well played there by KENI. I love that counterattack. That was awesome stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming out. Congratulations to KENI. You will be moving on in this tournament. Don't alt-tab. Always alt-StarCraft. We will see you guys next time.